And back to Facebook Live to say go live. Okay. Here we go. Good evening, everybody. This is Jen with Just Ask Jen, and I want to introduce you to my friend, and actually she has been my coach when it comes to my health. And so I want to introduce you to my friend, Kira. Kira, how are you tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I love talking with you because you are just so excited about how people can really be empowered with taking control of their life. And I know that you do a lot more than just like what food you're eating. Like I know that we've discussed way more than that. And so can you please tell us, how did you get started in this health space?
Yeah, so ongoing digestive issues from a very young age, well into my 20s, that I never got answers for. I just felt passed around from doctor to doctor. I don't know what to tell you. Try this medicine, take this, let's run this test, stop eating citrus and tomatoes and coffee and chocolate. And I did not get any relief. So then I had a coach, like a fitness coach, tell me, like, maybe your crappy diet is to blame. Like, literally, no one ever told me that my food choices beyond like the 4 that the doctor said could be issues. Like, no one talked to me about dairy, no one talked to me about processed food. And I know it sounds funny, but I was the person that's like, if it's sold in a store, like, why would it be bad? And I didn't realize it would impact me. So just kind of spiraled from there when I started realizing like, oh, my food really does matter, like the choices I make. And then that led into studying functional medicine and then naturopathic medicine, and it just keeps going.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people today that are looking for alternatives to what their doctor says, what their health insurance provides when it comes to their health. What are some places people can get started with learning more about good choices for their bodies? You know, we trust the government. There's the FDA, and if it's approved and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, but is that really what, just because it says it's approved, does that mean it's good for us? What do you recommend people get started?
I mean, start by just paying attention to the food that you put in your mouth and how you feel. That's the number one thing you can do. Start looking at things in your environment, not just food, but beauty products, cleaning products. Start looking at things like, can I eat this? Not saying that you're going to go on and eat your cleaning products or beauty products, but like, are they safe enough to do so? Or is it a ton of chemicals? Body's taking that in. It's not going to make you feel good. And then from there are so many resources out there. There's amazing books. There's like, I'll call them influencers. I don't like that term, but like big gurus in the holistic space, like Dr. Will Cole, Dr. Hyman. There's so many amazing people you can follow for either their books or just stuff on social media to read their blogs. Dr. Axe has some really good stuff. Chris Kresser has some really good stuff. Those are 4 people that just constantly are pumping out information that's good.
Oh, way cool. So, well then, all right, I'm going to ask you a tough question now. Then why come to you? What is it that you offer
Good
that
question.
helps people to grow and to
Yeah.
live the life they want to live?
I mean, it's an individualized approach. I'm not like going to a doctor where it's like, okay, I'll talk to you for 10 minutes, come back in 6 weeks, let me know how that's working out for you. First appointment, is close to 2 hours long. It's a really long appointment. We're talking through health history. We're talking through supplements you might be taking, food choices, emotions, past trauma. There's a lot that happens just in that first appointment. And then from there, it is based on what a person needs. Maybe food is their starting point, and that's what sessions are working towards. Maybe there's an emotional component that needs to talk through. Maybe we need to talk through some triage if someone's like, I have 0 energy, or I have migraines that are happening, 3 times a week. That's miserable. Let's see if we can do some things to get you out of that situation right now, while we're working towards bringing balance to the body and trying to identify what those triggers are and why your body is so out of balance. So it's the customized approach. It's not just read this book or I'll talk to you in 6 weeks.
As one of her, I don't know, practice members, participants, clients, whatever word you want to use. I found that having access to Kira was really a component I had not been used to before. So if I had a question about something, my food was being tracked, and so she could see what I was eating. So she could tell me, "You're doing a great job," or, "Oh, you must be feeling really off today." And so that was really kind of nice to have somebody that was kind of like that Jiminy Cricket, on my shoulder looking out for me as I was going through the program was really kind of helpful, because a lot of times we do things really without thinking. And when you made me stop and like start to look at some of the choice I was making, it's like, well, why am I doing that? And what is it that I'm gaining from this? And how do my emotions really play into the choices that I'm making? Not just my food, but my activity, my sleep, my all these different components. And I think that a lot of times, we hear the word nutrition, and I don't know if you use it this way, but nutrition being more than just food.
Yeah.
That nutrition is, how do we take care of our bodies? And I don't think I really even thought about that till just this minute.
Yeah. Fuel. Like, what are you doing to fuel your body? And that's thoughts, that's emotions, that's food, that's exercise, that's everything.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with this really cool company that you've started? And I know you've got a little one at home, and you've got a wonderful husband, and you guys have all kinds of exciting things that you guys want to do as a family, but where do you see your business going?
So you know this, I'm finishing up my traditional naturopathic doctor degree. So hoping to have that done in a year. And this one's exciting for me. In February, I'm getting certified as a hypnotherapist to really take it up a notch, to talk through the trauma and the emotions, because when I started talking food, I was like, gosh, it's so hard for people to go gluten free, or it's so hard for people to make these changes. And talking through it, sometimes I realized it's not enough. There's a deeper level. So I'm excited to see where things go.
Oh, that's really way cool. I had no idea that you were moving into that space.
Yes.
That's really cool. Well, now I've got some other people I need to refer you to. That is really cool. So, friends, if you're looking for somebody that is going to give you a different approach, one, how about they listen to you? Let's start there. Somebody that listens to you, and it's not just about the symptoms that you're having right now. It's bigger than that. It's allowing you to explore all the different options and what could be creating this. I remember the first time, okay, so this is maybe TMI for you guys, but when I first started with Kira, it was about a year ago, and I had, we did a hair test, which really wasn't too bad. They cut the bottom, it was my virgin hair. The latest one is right here. If I do it just right, I look like alfalfa. It's fantastic. And she does this test and she gets the results back, and I'm like, great, what does that mean? And so it was just really kind of interesting, because I had been given different information about why to do a hair test and why not to do a hair test. And so as somebody who uses it to influence and inform you and your clients, what do you recommend why do you recommend that test is what I wanted to say. Why?
So hair testing is funny, because it's looking at dead tissues. I mean, dead cells, the past 3 to 4 months, versus blood, which is looking at the past couple of days. I use blood work. I think blood work is an excellent tool for certain things, not so much for nutrients. The example I like to use is, if you eat a banana the night before you're testing, you go in first thing in the morning, your potassium levels might look ideal, but that's a terrible depiction of what's running through your body constantly. And I mean, we've seen that with us. My potassium's usually rock bottom on hair tests. So when we do a hair test, it's looking at mineral levels for the last 3 to 4 months. Minerals are the spark plugs of our body. They're making the show run. If things are out of balance, you're going to feel it. You're not going to feel amazing. And then from there, we can assume, okay, well, if this is out of balance, these vitamins are also out of balance. So then we customize, what foods do you need to eat, or what supplements do you need to take if you're not going to eat those foods? And then we can also look at metals in a hair test, which is really interesting.
I thought it was really interesting when we looked at mine and how things from the January to the September, and then it's like the ups and the downs. And so because it's a 3 month span of time, you can find out that if things are working, I would say rather quickly, because it's months as opposed to years, and finding out, okay, you know what, this is going to kill you later. I thought it was really interesting that you can see the shift, knowing that you're making changes. Because blood work, I don't know if you guys have had blood work done lately, but I had a full panel done last year. And it's really expensive when you get everything done to find everything out. And what I found was, by getting some of these tests done with Kira, I was able to get some more information different like she said, spanning time. So it gave me a bigger picture of what's going on than just that one blood draw, which again, your blood work, usually they only let you do it once a year. And
Yeah.
so getting the hair test gave me more information on a more consistent basis and wasn't that expensive. Like I was really surprised with how affordable that was to
Yeah.
get that information. So it's like, wow, thank you so much. That was really helpful to be able to get that information for myself to know what I'm doing. All right, one thing, we're going to talk about food for a second. So guys, when I started working with Kira, she's like, food about this and this. We finally got into food. And I'm like, okay, seriously, how am I going to eat all of these nutrients? I need to have 47 milligrams of potassium, and I need to have organ meat because of whatever good things are in there. And I need to have, okay, these adrenal cocktail things, you should try those out. And it was just like, oh my God, she really got me to stretch and try some things. Yeah, I never would have tried otherwise. Um, and now when I have them, specifically the adrenal cocktail, I made it for somebody. They're like, oh, so gross. And I'm
It's
like,
so good. I love them.
like, okay, okay, I'm not where you are, but but I can tolerate them where they're not like, oh, but if you're not used to a flavor,
Mhm.
it's very interesting. And so I think that when you're moving into this space, what's a recommendation you have for people when they're moving into, you know what, I want to be healthy, I want to do this. Oh, but I won't eat that. Oh, but I won't eat that. Oh, but I won't eat that. I've got some friends that don't eat fruits and vegetables. I'm like, okay, well, I now eat Brussels sprouts and I now drink coconut water, not all the time, but like I do drink that, and so what do you recommend to some people who have some like major aversions to some food options that they're like, yeah, well, I guess I'll rather just eat pizza.
Yeah. I mean, start small, like maybe it's literally starting with one fruit or vegetable every single day, but go to the grocery store and look at all the options. People hear the same 5 vegetables. It's like, I don't like Brussels sprouts. I don't like broccoli. I'm like, you realize there's more out there that you might really enjoy, right? Branch out, get online, look at recipes. It doesn't mean that you need to spend an hour in the kitchen, because I'm not. Make it easy, even make a smoothie. I mean, you can't ever go wrong with a smoothie because you can cram stuff in there. I mean, I have a picky child, and if I can get frozen riced cauliflower and frozen butternut squash in there without him noticing. So there's hacks, right? Shove it in some meatloaf for all I care, but there's ways to get other nutrients in there without it feeling like, oh my gosh, this is torture, or I have to eat salad every day, because I wouldn't.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you so much, Kira. Is there anything else that you want to give our listeners? It's the beginning of the new year. Everybody started their New Year's resolutions 2 days ago, and they're probably off them already. Like it's, what's a piece of advice or, wisdom that you can give people that are like, you know what, I want 2023 to be different.
Mhm.
What's something that you would recommend people do that like they're like ready to go?
Yeah. Make it different. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but every year, and I used to be guilty of this, I would make resolutions and then I would fall off the wagon and I'd go back to old habits. And then next year, let's make new resolutions. I was doing the same thing every year. Make it different. Identify one small thing that you want to change. I don't care what it is. If it's adding in a new vegetable every week, if it's going for a walk for 10 minutes a day, it needs to be on your calendar, top priority. Everything else is worked around it. I don't care what your day looks like. Even if it's like, oh, okay, my only free time is the first 10 minutes in the morning. That's what you're doing then. So do it different. Don't do the same thing you always do. Pick one thing to start with and prioritize it.
Well, there you go, people.
We
So
overcomplicate stuff.
we do tend to overcomplicate stuff. I think moms and people, and if you're breathing, you probably do. So thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday night. And guys, I have tagged Kira and you are welcome to check her out. What is your group? How do people find you? Because
yeah, so I do have a multi-practitioner group. There's 4 of us in there. The Holistic Healing Space is the group. And then you tagged me, but my Facebook page, my business, it's A Nourished Life Nutrition.
Okay, perfect. So feel free to share this out, everybody. If you know somebody who's been wanting to lose weight, gain control of their health, learn about how their emotions and their food are impacting their health and how they can make a shift today, have them contact Kira, have them watch this video, see if it's something that resonates with them. She's here locally with me in Las Vegas, so I have gotten to meet with her in person, but she does work with people all over the country. And so if you're like, well, I don't live there, well, you don't have to. So it's totally fine. You can tell, because I think for the first 6 months, we had met in person once prior to working together. And the entire time we were working together, I don't think I saw her once in person.
No, it's all telehealth.
Everything was over Zoom, and everything was over text. She's got a fantastic app to keep track of things, real easy way to communicate. It was all saved there. So I had to go look in some other place, like, where's it at in my email? That was awful. She's got a special app just for what I work with her. I really appreciated that. And so everybody, I hope you have a wonderful new year. And Kira, best of luck. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.